All right. Lights?
Yeah.
Questions?
You guys don't play these guys very often. That's kind of strange. You would think this rivalry is something you have every year.
Well, it's not much of a rivalry when you never play each other. You know, it's great to play other teams in the league. You know, it's not just UVA, but you know, all the teams in Atlantic and Coastal are now getting to play each other more. So I think that's great for our league. It's great for our players, especially our regional players. You know, that we have several players from the state of Virginia. You know, and so very rarely do they get a crossover against guys they grew up with. There's a lot of their, you know, kids from their neighborhoods and high school teams and conferences that they grew up, played with, that are on the rosters, you know, for UVA, Virginia Tech, and so on. So it's great to get these games, you know, for our fans too. They're drivable games, and excited, you know, just to get more variety in the schedule.
And the schedule is slightly compressed this week with the Friday game. Just how the team handled the shorter game
really
prep time.
Good. Yeah, proud of them. The guys did a good job. They understood, you know. I think with this team, as long as you tell them what's coming, they handle it well, you know. And so we broke the schedule down to them a couple weeks ago so they'd have some lead time on the short week and how we were going to do it. And I think it was harder on the coaches maybe than the players, you know, because we had to turn around and really, we lost a day of prep film-wise, so we had to be here a lot more early mornings, late nights, and that's just the way it is. But the guys did a great job.
Lennon talked about knowing the tendencies of the four guys up front on defense for Virginia, not like a competitive edge, but just being able to maybe talk to his guys up front as an extra voice for them if they prefer, maybe. Yeah,
I'm sure he had some insight. You know, like I've told a lot of people, him and Coach 2J were just there, and so they have what they know about these guys, but they've also, you know, last year developed as players some, so they're probably better versions of what they were when those guys left. I'm sure they are. They've worked hard, and you know, so that stuff helps a little bit in your preparation. Once you get out there and start playing the game, I'm not sure it'll matter though.
You talked about VMI being a real confidence booster. Have you seen a reflection of that in practice this week?
Yeah, you are. Guys that make plays, you know, go backwards. Like Notre Dame, there's some guys that had some drops, you know, and in the next game you see them bounce back and catch the football and do some things. That's going to help those two guys, you know. And it's across the board. And it's really not just VMI. I think it's practice too. You know, every time a guy goes out there and makes a play, it builds his confidence. In a game, even more so, you know, because the lights are on, the TV, and all those things that come with it.
With Kendrick Raphael coming on, is it good to have more options in the backfield?
Yeah, you know, the running back position is one that takes a lot of hits. You know, it's not just the runs that they get hit on. They're special teams guys. They're in protection like linemen. They're taking on guys sometimes a lot bigger than them. And so to have a rotation keeps them fresh, and I think having roles for the guys gives them, you know, each opportunities to be a part of the, you know, the game plan and help us win games.
You talked about special teams. What's it been like to see Jalen Quick kind of get comfortable, you know, at
right? Yeah, he's a difference maker back there. I'm really proud of him for one. You know, he showed us in the spring and in fall camp that he was very, very trusted ball catcher as a punt returner. But until it's live, you don't know how they're going to handle that exposure to the bullets or the missiles running down at you, whatever you call them. And in the first game, you could see he was a little hesitant. And then Notre Dame, man, he did a great job in the rain with really good players coming after him. And then that has springboarded him one more week. So our return game, both phases, kickoff return with Julian, punt return with Jalen, has been very, very productive.
We've been talking with the guys, and yesterday communication and talking came up. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, you know, football is 11 guys doing something at once, and so when all 11 are on the same page, they have a chance to be successful. And so there are some plays on both sides of the ball that require communication after they get the call, you know, whether it's a check or an audible on offense, you know, terminology on defense based on back sets or tight end locations that can change things. So we have to be really good communicators if we want to play elite football.
Is that a situation where last year you had the linebackers, the veteran linebackers?
Yeah. And safeties, you know, Cyrus and Tanner were veteran guys that could make checks in the secondary, and then you lose Drake and Isaiah. So there's a lot more on newer players. Their voice, their command presence has to be different than it's been. You had a question?
Oh, well, it was more so just going back to Jalen Coy. He's another guy that's stuck around, you know, behind Thayer Thomas. I know we talk about this all the time, guys that do that, but it seems like this state has a lot of that. You know, what does it say about this culture and everything you've built here?
No, I appreciate you saying that. You know, I think it's proof in the pudding. You know, when guys are willing, and Jalen Scott is another guy, you know, that's done that. it just means a lot that they love being here. I mean, to me, that's my job, is to create an environment for our coaches to work in, our players to play in, and for us to be a family in. And if guys are sticking around, even when it's not what they want it to be, I think that says a lot about how they're treated and the type of leadership they have in their position rooms, the way D'Antonio Burnett runs our strength program. So it's meaningful that guys are willing to do that in an age that doesn't happen very often.
Excited to be starting the ACC.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're excited. It's a wide open race, you know, and obviously some teams have already had conference games, and so they're up or down in the league. But you know, now the thing starts for us, and we've put a lot of time in, a lot of investment, and we're excited to get on the road and go play our first game in the league.
How's Dylan doing? Is there any?
He's doing good. Yeah, no, it's day to day for him. But yeah, he's mentally doing good. Every day his range of motion's getting better. And like I said in my press conference last year, he had something, they thought he'd be out for weeks, and he was back in 3 days. So, you know, I just don't think you can count him out. He's really tough.
How exciting is it to play on, a Friday night? Obviously, it's a short turnaround for you, but, back-to-back weeks, kind of this week and next week with Friday night games coming up.
I'm not excited about it. So, you know, for me, Friday nights are high school football. I have a son that I don't get to see play 2 weeks in a row. From a recruiting standpoint, we don't get to recruit on a Friday night for 2 weeks. I understand the value of the coverage. I mean, that part of it's great for our program. I'd rather play on a Thursday night if I had my pick, just so that we could still use Friday nights accordingly for recruiting and, to go watch my son play. But, again, I understand it's about dollars, and we need to make money in our conference. All conferences are doing it. And so we have our 2 weeks back to back, and, we're going to make the most of them. We're going to get on national television and do the best we can to win games.
Good, guys.